1.
Hi, folks. Welcome to the weekly VT of Irish Rugby Banter page. Along with myself, Peter, Richard, James, Danny, and Peter. We are going to chat about last week's predictions, last week's matches, this week's matches, and a couple of random questions for the lads to answer.
On the Premier League.
On the Premier League.
Off with that shite. That's up there with GAA.
Don't forget the GAA matches as well. We have to cover them as well, okay?
No, we're not. Fuck off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the first couple of matches, we had a few off-the-wall predictions last week. Peter and Danny, I think, had those wrapped up. Have you?
Go on, Danny. Danny, you have the prediction from last week.
Yeah, what match are you doing first, Sarah?
So we do the Connacht Scarlets game. Connacht winning 36-14.
And you just finished that drink, will you?
Yeah, we all predicted Connacht winning that one. Yeah,
looks bad.
Yeah. So would you agree the Connacht lads were kind of fronting up more physically and creating a bit more energy around the field?
Yeah.
And it kind of puts the pressure. It put the pressure on Scarlets. Peter, Burke, what do you think of that game?
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I think last week I think we all predicted that Connacht would win that. Shut the fuck up, Brosnan, for fuck's sake. We said last week that Connacht would win that. I think we all said that Connacht would win it easily. I put into the group that under the match thread, I think it was, James, maybe you can correct me on this. I said it's an easy win for Connacht. As we've said before, the Welsh sides, Scarlets, Ospreys, they're fucking shite. But Connacht played well. They played well, and it was a thoroughly deserved victory. They fronted up. The phase play was good. The rucking game was good. It just kind of clicked. You know when your team clicks, and a well-deserved win for Connacht. I thought they played very well. There you go.
Richard, did you see the game yourself?
No, I actually looked at the highlights before I come on. Bonus point win. What more do you want?
Yeah.
At home. I think Mac Hansen, from what I see him, was a standout player. He seemed to be everywhere. So he's surely a show-in now for the upcoming internationals to start at least 2 of the games.
Oh, I don't know
if he stays injury-free.
Yeah. Danny, did you see the game?
I saw bits and pieces of the second half, but I went back and ended up watching the highlights as well. The first try they got in the first 30 seconds, that was an excellent block down, excellent take on that anyway. The Scarlets try, the first one they scored, I think there's a bit of the dodgy defence by Connacht there, but I think there's the opening moments. But or in that bonus point way, what more can you ask for at home?
Yeah. Peter, Martin, did you see it?
Saw bits of it. The weather was atrocious. I thought that both sides are kind of struggling to get used to the surface, brand new pitch, and the fact it was so windy and probably a little bit more bouncy than would be expected. But I think Connacht played very well. They handled the conditions a lot better. Again, as Peter said, Hansen was everywhere. Sign of a good team is when basically get your better players on the ball as soon as possible, as often as possible. And it was a deserved win. Yeah.
James, you were obviously at the game.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Washed out of it.
Well, I was in the back of the clan stand, nice and cozy, so it was grand. But it was rough weather, all right. Try after 27 seconds. That must be a record. Like that was.
I think it is
the block down. Yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And then the Scarlets' first try shouldn't have been a try. It was a forward pass. It was more forward now than dropping the hand on the first 8. It was blatantly forward. So it was
getting the ride on the first 8. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely blatantly forward. So it shouldn't have been. Timo didn't go back and look at it at all. But anyway, look, they made hard work of it, I thought, in the first half. Mac Hansen was all over the place. He was, there was an air of anticipation, an air of excitement when the ball got near him or got it in his hands. It was him that kicked it to the Scarlets defence when they ran through and got their try as well. But other than that, he had a great game. They just cut loose in the second half, and it was a comfortable win and good atmosphere. My daughter came with me to the match, but she spent the whole time. She's a good friend with Bundy's daughter, and she spent the whole time in the gym in the back. They were babysitting Bundy's young fella. So he's only 2. So they said they had a great crack all together. She came out after. So who won that?
Oh.
she didn't care. She was having a great time anyway. So
that's brilliant.
What a good atmosphere and everything. And my former Chargers in Galwegians got to play at half time, and they won their little minis game 3-0. So good all night. Great.
Brilliant. Those halftime matches are a great experience and great fun for the kids and the next 2 or 3 generations coming up through the ranks. It's so important for them to feel that, and it's the highlight of their week, month, whatever.
Absolutely,
it's great the way all of the provinces do that with their matches, especially their home games.
Yeah.
The Ulster lads were all sick, so that match didn't happen. Yeah. Like, we all get a dose of the trots, like.
Water for a week.
But I tell you what, do you know what, Sarah? Do you know who absolutely I feel very sorry for that the Ulster game being called off against the Sharks? It was McCluskey, because he is dying to impress Andy Farrell. And I just thought, when I said, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's one hurdle after the next for them.
Yeah.
It really is. So the other game was the Leinster-Munster game. That, there was a couple of standout players. I watched this myself. I don't know if you have the same kind of points, but I think Frawley, Jimmy O'Brien, Jack Crowley, they all kind of stood out to me in that game. Peter Martin, did you see that yourself? Oh, you were at it.
I was at it. No, I didn't see as much of the game as I normally would, because I was spending half my time in the catacombs of the Aviva, running up and down stairs getting pints.
I love it. That's the way to do it.
And a family day, a kind of a semi-family day out, as in with Boyne RFC. Good crack was had by all. No, it was a good match. It was a tight contest. It was interesting because obviously, Leinster just weren't hitting all their markers, and Munster were making a game of it. Like, as you said, Crowley, I'm delighted to see young Crowley starting to come through and really stake a claim. I was looking at his stats after the game. His game involvement was pretty high, between passes, carries in particular, and overall he made an impression in the game. Frawley did well as well. That was unusual for Johnny Sexton knock on coming up to the line. I don't know what was going on there, but was very much a kind of like a, oh, did that just happen moment. But yeah, look, they got the job done in the end. The living, breathing cheat code that Dan Sheehan got another try. So yeah, look, that Leinster forward unit has definitely another level with Jenkins. Jesus, he's a fucking unit. Like, he's massive. He's a massive tank of a man. Like, and okay, he plays the R or whatever, and he's been wrapped in. For me, he's totally been wrapped in cotton wool, because he's so injury prone, and the whole of himself and Sexton, and there's one or two others who are being minded like kids. But yeah, no, job was done all right. Next week, I think for Munster will be a bit more of a statement if where they are.
100%. Richard, did you see the match?
I did, unfortunately. To be fair, Munster stayed with them for 60 minutes. I think when Carberry went off, they kind of lost that attacking impetus. I think, with all due respect to Healy, he's more a player to bring on to see out a game if we're in front. He's more that kind of a player where he tends to control the game. I thought Crowley was brilliant, even though he was playing in fullback. He looked he looked made for under a high ball. He obviously his confidence is that high at the moment that he was just able to come for it, and if he knocked it on, he'd just laugh it off and go back and try it again. And that's great to see in a player too. Again,
do you think Crowley's like a 10 playing? He was superb, like he really was.
And he really likes to come forward.
Yeah.
You know, when he gets the ball, and it's exciting to see down in Munster. Again, we lost, I think, 4 players to injury, which is another bit of a worry. We ended up with the hooker coming on to play at flanker, so that's never a good sign. But overall, look, I can't complain. Leinster were the better team. We did ride our luck a lot in the first half. Our scramble defence was very, very, very good, I thought. But at the end of the day, Leinster, they just had the players. They had the players to be able to come in and just do us in the end of it.
Yeah, Danny, did you see the game?
Yeah, I saw the game right. I was watching the car off it, and I agree with Richard and Lawson. That's right. First 60 minutes, we kept in it. I even said I'd be happy coming away by losing bonus point in this, but I think the depth Leinster had coming off the bench was a lot better than ours. Even though considering both sides are hit with injuries, it's just the quality of the quality they have there. We don't have. Defensively, we had 2 tries up. I think was it one first half, one second half. There's a lot of little silly errors from Leinster. A couple of knocks on, a couple of the ball slipped out of the hand a couple of times. But looking at the conditions there that night, it was wet, it was raining. That didn't help an awful lot. Crowley was very good, but on another note, I know I was looking at some of the Ireland A games from around 2007 to 2009, and 6 of that was actually at full back for a couple of those games in the Churchill Cup. So we could see Crowley maybe being moved to the 10 slot at some stage later on. Joe, when do you think that maybe he has a better idea of how where he's at in terms of or where he needs to be at this level of the game? Overall, I think we did a lot better than expected, but there's parts of that second half I think we had a fair amount of possession. It's just we just couldn't find that cutting edge. We just couldn't find that penetration needed. I think that is something that Pendergast and Cole will probably be looking at going forward. But like I was expecting a lot more of a hammering, to be honest with you, with Leinster.
Really?
That game, but I was expecting I was expecting maybe better part 25-point gap, to be honest with you, concerning the injuries on both sides, but the quality Leinster had, I was expecting more of a gap in that game. But no, I think we're coming along, and we're coming along nicely now as compared to the first few rounds.
Considering that you had 15 injuries going into that game. To Leinster's 9 or 10. Munster showed up. Like, you have to give it to them. They did show up. 15 injuries. That's kind of keeping it way for thin. Like, I think their front row was the only solid thing that they had. Kind of covered everywhere, bar in the front row. But Peter, you were at the game.
I was.
I'm delighted. Anyway,
how much do you remember?
I was at the game. It was a great day out. And as Danny, as you were talking there, I'm just looking at the stats. I mean, for meters made, Barron topped the charts, followed by Hodnett, followed by Coombs. I thought Coombs had a great game. You go on to the Leinster side of things. You had Frawley, Ringrose, Osborne. I didn't think the 9-10 axis worked very well for Munster on the day. I thought Murray and Carberry just didn't, for whatever, it just didn't click. 2 yellow cards for Munster didn't help. What was it, 7-6 at half time? Look, I don't know. I mean, we've covered this before multiple times, but the process and the transition that Munster have to go through. Sarah, as you said, next weekend is a different, again, another challenge, a different prospect for Munster again. And if they lose that, I don't know, that they've got some really big soul searching to do.
Yeah.
But a bonus point win for Leinster against Munster is always a good thing, but it's never a good thing to see an Irish province go backwards, so to speak. We all need all the provinces to be performing for next year.
Yeah. And do you think, from watching the game, Peter, do you think Jimmy O'Brien is a better 15 than Frawley and Jack Crowley?
I think Jack Crowley's a natural 10.
Do you think he's the better? Jimmy O'Brien's the better of the two?
I think Jimmy O'Brien is a 15, Jack Crowley's a 10.
Yeah.
I'd say I'd leave it at that. If you were to pick a 2 or 3 years time international squad, I'd have Crowley at 10 and Jimmy O'Brien at 15.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people, I seen a lot of stuff on social media and stuff like that, and I could have said it myself, and then I thought, oh, everyone else was kind of thinking the same.
Yeah.
But I just said I'd put it to the group. James, did you see the game?
I did indeed. I think it was mentioned during the week there on the page, someone referred to Johnny Sexton as the Benjamin Button of Irish rugby, just getting better and better, and he's shown no signs of aging. He had a great game, other than the uncharacteristic knock on. But the other player that stood out for me, and I think he got man of the match as well, is Luke McGrath. He had an outstanding game, and a little a scrum half try, fucking little snipe. Great, really enjoyable game, and I think the scoreline flattered Leinster, and it doesn't give Munster the credit for the effort that was put in and how well Munster played. And like you, Peter, it was great to see Munster coming from where they started the season, with the view to what's coming next year, 2023 in France. We do need all 4 provinces firing on all cylinders. And yeah, look, I'm always slagging the boys there about Munster and everything, but yeah, I was delighted to see them playing so well. And again, I think the scoreline flattered Leinster, I think, a little bit. But yeah, great game, very enjoyable. It was the last 20 minutes where most of the damage was done in terms of the scoreboard.
That's typical Leinster, though, James. If you go back historically, Leinster tend to do that in the last 20 minutes to teams, be it Irish or whatever. It doesn't matter what team it is. They tend to do that in the last 20 minutes. But
the fitness level tells.
Yeah. That's James. That's Stuart Lancaster, by the way.
Yeah, but I think your side says if Leinster sniff blood early, they can get a couple of maybe 2-3 scores early on, and they can take control and literally shut the game out that way. But so they can win either way.
But they didn't do that against Connacht, though, Danny. When you think about Foley's try in the first 3 or 4 minutes, Connacht disrupted.
Inch pros go out the window. But normally, if they're facing your other teams, derby matches, everything goes out the window.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So the next week's games, we'll just do these predictions while we're on the topic of all the matches and stuff. Scarlets v Leinster, Leinster away to Scarlets. Should be a handy enough one for Leinster.
I wouldn't say that.
So.
I wouldn't say
Peter,
that. I wouldn't say that. The obvious thing to say would be it depends on what team Leo Cullen picks. It's going to be a Leinster second/third team. I'd say he'll send over to Parky Scarlets. Will they? I don't know. I don't know. Like when these teams are picked, particularly a second and or third string teams are picked, you just don't know. And I can't. As James Grennan said a few weeks back, put me down for a question mark.
Lads, it's typical, man. Just make a decision and stick to it.
Oh, fucking Leinster by 15 then. Jesus Christ. There you go.
I'm saying good night to my children at the same time. Multitasking, make a decision, stick to it. You know what I mean?
There you go. Go on, Leinster by 15.
Oh. Richard, Scarlets v Leinster.
Yeah, I think one of two things that happen is Leinster will win by the 15 points, or they just won't show up. I honestly think that now. It's depending on, again, goes back to what Peter's saying. Because there's going to be that many changes made, there could be a little bit, the team could be a little bit disjointed. So I think it's right. Oh, right. Leinster by 10, I think.
Well, don't you see? He knows how to make a decision like that. Well done, Richard. James, off the back. Go on.
I think it's going to be a bonus point win for Leinster. The only question is it going to be in the first half or the second half?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Peter Martin.
Yeah, I will concur with James insofar as I think it'll be a bonus point win. I have a little bit more faith with the whole squad system that and the second and third string. Just thinking about it as everybody else was describing, like, you know, what kind of selection be going out. Just harking back to what Leo Cullen sent to South Africa last year, which was basically a third string side, and they did really well. I think the likes of that will stand to the lads who'll be going over to the Parky Scarlet. So, you know, the likes of your John McKees and Michael Milnes and these guys who are kind of like, you know, the young pups who are on the fringes of the squad, you know, they'll be looking to put a marker down to make sure that when Dan Sheehan, Michael Alato and all these come back, you know, that there's going to be, they'll be reminded of the wrestle for the jersey. So I think it'll be bonus point. But again, I do hear what the lads are saying. You know, it'd be a case even to move. I would say there'd be a case of maybe moving the show a day forward so we can discuss the selection perhaps. But sure, that's a conversation for another time perhaps.
Yeah. Danny, Scarlets v Leinster.
I'm going to partially agree with this one. Peter Martin said that when Leinster went to South Africa, they proved that a lot of lads are looking for to make an impression. They also did it as well. Against Munster was it last April. It's basically a full strength squad we had at the time against maybe a second third team, and they outplayed us out the park. And I think they have that mentality in Leinster now that if a lot of the main players are missing, then the lads that do come up are kind of said, right, now's my opportunity. I'm going to apply pressure on the lad ahead of me. I'm going to let him know I'm back. I'm literally breathing down his neck. Yeah. That's going to happen in the Scarlets game. They're going to come out of the blocks and says, now's my opportunity. If that lad's missing, he's going to have to earn his jersey back from me. Yeah. So I see a Leinster bonus point Scarlets in this. No, it mightn't happen in the first half, but I guarantee you it will happen. Because there's enough fight there, and every player says, lads, we have to do this as a collective. We're going to win this. Come on, let's get it done.
Another big game, Munster, Ulster.
What do you think, Sarah? What's your prediction for next week?
My own prediction, I think Leinster will send over a good batch. They have a good batch of some of those emerging Ireland players. They kind of left their impression and their mark. So I think some of those lads will be sent over, and it'll be job done to Leinster. But I have to think, I would say 15 points in the difference. I've every faith in them. Just because I don't think Scarlett showed up against Connacht, I don't think they're going to show up, really. You know, be nice for Leinster to beat them in their back garden at the same time. But that's just me, bit of fighting talk, you know. Munster v Ulster. Will the lads be over their illness? Like, there's a lot of sick lads there. Soft chaps. Anyway, I'm joking when I say it. Jesus Christ. We get
drink the water.
Private messages. You said they were all sick and soft chaps. Yeah, well, they were. But anyway, some of us just
don't drink the water, Sarah. Or Sarah.
It was dodgy water.
Well, it was gastroenteritis, so it's.
Oh, lads, I was going to say. So there was 5 or 6 of them injured, and then there was about 28 or 29 of them quite sick. Look, never like to hear anyone injured or anyone sick, and you know, you wish everyone the best in their recovery and stuff. But it's kind of a difficult situation that Ulster are in, coming up against, you know, a Munster team that are chomping at the bit a bit.
Well, Sarah, I'll tell you now. Thanks very much. The Munster injury list: Archer, Jack O'Sullivan, Coombs, Tom Ahern, Klein, and so they're key players now for Munster. And then you have back to training, Herr Flick, Zebo, shite, Haley and Salanoa are back training, right? Now, whether they'll be picked now, Haley and Salanoa, I don't know, and fucking fucknuts, Zebo, I don't know. But like Archer, Jack O'Sullivan, Coombs, Tom Ahern and Klein are key players from Munster. I don't know. I don't even know who I want to win this match as I put into the group. I don't know. I have no idea. There you go. Anyway.
Your question.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah,
James,
I don't know. I don't know.
More question
James,
marks.
Put him down for a draw.
For the draw.
I'm not even writing this stuff down. When he says draw, I'm
I'm-
not even writing it down.
I'm taking notes here, Sarah. Sorry.
Oh, are you? Oh, I mean, I remember it all.
Getting in the good books.
Good man, James.
Burke is a coward.
I've brain fog at the moment, apparently. Every day.
Is that still from the drugs you're taking for your voice a couple of weeks ago?
Lads, the drugs are good. The drugs are good. All professionally prescribed and all that shite. You know, the usual shite I go on with.
Of course. Yeah.
James, what do you think? Munster v Ulster?
I think those people that are trying to ban ketamine should get down off their high horse.
Yeah, that's really good shit.
Special K.
Munster, Munster at
your
home.
porridge.
Munster at home to Ulster, and Ulster have been shiting water for a week. I'd say the scrums are going to be interesting. I would not like to be,
Well, wouldn't want to be
I would not
second
like
row.
to be in the second row there. I'll tell you that much.
Be all well wrung out.
It could be heavy going there. It depends on how well Ulster have recovered from the squits. I'd give that to Munster, I'd say, by 5.
White isn't a good colour for that kind of thing, you know.
Oh, and all their
I'm
kids. What's
drinking
their
here,
away kit
come
like?
on.
Yellow.
Oh, Jesus, that's worse.
Jesus.
I hope it's a wet night.
Oh.
That's what your one said last night.
Hey.
Go on, Emma.
Richard,
Oh, no, I go
Richard,
with
what
my
do you
last night.
think this game's going
This
to
I
turn
think
into a
Munster
shit
gonna
show
win this.
already?
Munster need to win this, so I think they will win it. They literally have a gun to their head now that they have to go out and perform. I was looking at a stat that they need to get 4.5 points from all of the remaining games to have any hope of qualifying for Europe.
Oh, is that
The way
right?
it stands at the moment.
Oh,
I know it's a big ask, but I think they will, and I don't think Ulster will be fully recovered, because anyone who's been through what that Ulster panel has been through knows it takes you about 10 days to come anywhere near it. So I want to say Ulster or Munster by 7.
Yeah. Yeah, Danny, what do you think?
I think we'll edge it there, because like what Richard was saying is, after that kind of level of illness, the quality of depth in Ulster is good, but not maybe as strong as we have it. We're both missing in internationals as well, along with our long injury list. But we all say that the home team is usually has a 5-point advantage going into this anyway. So I give Munster the edge, even though we have Frank Murphy refereeing the game. But
A brace.
Jeez.
yeah, I know. But you know what? I think that Ulster would have been a lot better if they had those 2 new props. You know, help now. I think that helped them off that as well.
Jesus, talk about neutral officials. I think I said it on one of the posts. Like, oh
Yeah.
God Almighty!
I thought about but I think if Ulster had those 2 new props in the right, they'd be in a lot better position, all right.
Peter Martin. Oh, sorry, Danny. Sorry.
I think Frank Murphy will be using his cards for cleaning up shit.
Well, he has so many cards, he might as well be.
Well, there you go,
Oh,
Danny.
stop.
You said it.
Go on, Anna.
There you said it.
If you wanted
Um,
anyone to get a dose of it, you'd want him to get a dose of it now and his other official, wouldn't you?
Danny, what did you say the score was going to be on that Ulster Munster?
Sorry, Danny, I forgot to ask you that.
I'd say Munster maybe 3-5 points.
3-5.
Oh,
No, not a chance.
Peter Martin, what do you think?
Excuse me. I think, given the issues with keeping pants on and keeping clean and all that, for the match, I'd say. How long do how long do bum stoppers last for?
Oh,
You'd know that.
Peter,
that
how
one,
long
Sarah.
do they last for again? I can't remember.
I've no idea what butt plugs are. I don't know.
You send them up some wine
that
carts.
those tablets
knew
are
he was
red or
gonna go
something
there.
they're called. They're French, but it means it's French for stop. You can buy them over the counter or something like that. You know, I often throw them in if you're acting the maggot with some of the lads. You just crush a few into a pint or something. Great fun.
Laxatives. Isn't that the ones you push into a leaf when somebody finds?
That's optic eye drops.
They'll be all wearing the 10 lady, they will.
Well, come here to me. You know what's interesting? Munster's next game after Ulster is against South Africa A. I'm just looking through it here. Munster, South Africa A, Thursday, 10th of November. Jesus, I don't know.
I have a feeling that's going to be pretty much a skeleton crew one out for Munster at this stage.
Probably.
Thoughts and prayers.
And then you have on the 26th of November, you're at home to Connacht.
Yeah.
Again.
Revenge for Skibbereen and all that.
Yeah.
Peter Martin, your score prediction for that game?
For the Ulster Munster game.
Yeah.
2010 to Munster.
Ooh, +2.
Exact score.
Sarah, I have a question for you there.
Go over it.
Do you think Ulster would be a lot happier if they had Kitshoff and Cock in their team? No, Warden has win later on in the year.
You're waiting a solid week, Danny, to ask that, weren't you?
Fuck's sake, Brosnan. Jesus Christ, you're hanging in there. I'm just sorry, just to
two props coming
He
into
was
Ulster.
dying to
Come
ask
on.
this question on this. He was dying to ask this question.
Okay.
I got it
he
the wrong
was,
way
yeah,
around.
he was. He's getting
Go
my
on,
sense.
Danny, jump up and down and wobble your head. Woo-hoo!
I'm just looking, Sarah. I'm just
I'm
looking
not
at
like
the. Oh, shut up, Brosnan. Will you? Sarah, I'm just
Spit
looking
it out,
at.
Peter. Come on.
I'm looking at the percentages of who the fans think will win between Brosnan. Seriously.
Both hands, Peter.
Who the fans who the fans think will win between Munster and Ulster? 56% say Munster, 43% say Ulster.
It could be the case there's going to be a ding-dong battle of the game anyway.
It could be, Richard. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Sarah, what's your score prediction?
I think Munster by 7.
Nobody going for Ulster.
I'm fucking going for Ulster. Yes, I'm going for
You
Ulster.
said a draw. You said nothing. You said a question mark or a draw.
All right, well, I'll retract that. I think Ulster will beat them by about 12.
12, okay.
All right. We leave it at that, so. All right.
Come here. I have a question for you, just to everyone, in relation to the
Another
Munster
one.
injury problems. And do you think it's down to like the fact that the intensity has increased in the training? You know, early season, inexperienced young players, or is it a case that when they have 10 away with the emerging Ireland team, and so many injuries, is it more concern of the age profile, say, of Conway, who's been injured for a long time, Earls and Zebo combined with their recent injury history? I'm just pulling those 3 players out, for example. Is that the case? Like, I think a lot of people might think it's early days in the season. Is it inexperience, or is it the intensity of it? Like, why is there 15 injured so early doors? Danny,
We were the
what do you think?
same
Sorry,
last
go on,
season.
Richard.
we were actually the same last season. We had a raft of injuries, so it could well be down to the training regime. I know.
Is it Roundtree's a different way of, you know, is it obviously completely different to Van Gaan? So
I know in Leinster they play level 1, level 2, level 3,
right,
and they train at level 2. Like level 3 is basically match conditions, so there could be a little bit of that in that they're over pushing on the training ground. Because I know I think Haley's and Conway's were injury on the training ground. It was hamstring and ankle or whatever, you know. So
Conway's injured a long time. They were expecting him back though, I thought, but it's obviously extended a bit longer.
Yeah, obviously he's had some sort of a setback there. Yeah. So maybe it is that they're pushing too hard, and then new coach, you're in trying to impress him.
Yeah, but Danny, what do you think yourself?
I think every team goes through a patch of the season where injuries are a problem. They have a lot of injuries coming up at the same time. For us, I think we're better off getting a lot of those injuries out of the way now, because I think it does give the younger players and maybe more squad players a chance to go out there and impress as well and compete for positions. But it's a pain in the backside because you want to get a good start to the season going and all this sort of crack. But it's just one of these patches that a lot of teams have at some stage in the season. I'd rather it now rather than at the end of the season. So I think it's just a combination of just between matches, maybe the players push themselves maybe a bit too hard, and a lot of these simple injuries can happen and just flare up again and again or something like that. So just part and parcel.
Peter Martin, have you one thing to add to that?
I don't think so. Like I do know that Munster had what's his name, Aled Walters, as strength and conditioning. He's a very popular kind of guy. I imagine that he was there under when Razzie. He was there for Razzie as well, though, wasn't he, Danny? He kind of was a bit of continuity. He's now involved with the South African setup, I think, Aled Walters, but he was a very popular guy. Now I don't know whether it's just because he's a good lad for going to piss or whether he was just that, plus he bloody well knew every muscle and sinew of the players' bodies and got them in tip-top shape 99% of the time.
Yeah.
But it could be just it could be just coincidental. It could be just a bad run of luck that players all of a sudden are getting it could be just one thing on top of another, like as regards injuries. I'd say, to be honest with you, the whole strength and conditioning thing is kind of like a lot of the coaches now have so much staff that they basically leave the strength and conditioning guys alone to do their thing, and the players work with them. I don't think it's a question of Roundtree's running into the office where the strength and conditioning guys are and say, listen, I need you to put the boot up a couple of these players are because I need them for the weekend. I don't think that's the way it's done at all. They have absolutely all trust in each other and what their processes and what they're doing and all that kind of thing. They're just, I have nothing else really to say. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. I have a Connacht question there. Well, not a Connacht, just a topic for yourself, James. I'm just going to try and divide it out. Their defence coach, Peter Wilkins. Is that his name?
Peter Wilkins, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely improved their defence going forward considerably since last season. They leaked a couple of tries in the first couple of matches. First 3 matches, only allowed 1 in the match. Anything more to add? They're kind of at a good platform at the moment going forward. Personally, I think, the scrum isn't too shabby either. I just don't know if you could add a bit more. You've been to a lot of their home games and stuff.
So the scrum and the line-out have been hugely improved, all right. I think I mentioned it in one of the first reviews that we did after the first match of the season, where it looked like we spent all our time working on the defence and nothing on the attack at all. And the defence had improved dramatically, which is down to Peter Wilkins. He's head coach as well. But Andy Friend is still doing all the pieces to camera and all the media stuff as well. So he's been left to focus on all that. But yeah, huge improvements there.
Oh, 100%.
To go, as I say, to hold Leinster scoreless for 73 minutes, even though we didn't get on the scoreboard, I grant that, but 73 minutes to hold, there's not many teams are in a position to do that. So I think huge credit to him there.
Yeah.
You know, the Leinster were camped on the Connacht 5-meter try line, you know, on numerous occasions. They kicked to the corner several times and they came away with nothing. And I think that just shows the level of focus that's been on defence in there.
What was the final score, James? What was the final score?
It was 10-0.
What did Connacht score?
Yeah, 0, Peter. Yeah. I didn't know, we were talking about defence, not attack.
So, but
last year or the year before, what was the score in Peter? What was the score in Edinburgh in 2016? There.
Jeez, you keep bringing it up. It's like fucking England with the 1966 fucking World Cup.
2010 or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Peter, I don't actually have a really good Leinster question for you because they're just really good anyway. You know, they're just doing so well. I know. Come here. Do you think, Peter, it was really bizarre? Sexton knocking the ball on the Munster 10-meter line. Like, it's probably something he's done in the past. I just can't.
Listen, he could have fucking left the immersion on. He could have fucking forgot to record his fucking Netflix show. He could have fucking done anything. You know, we couldn't be thinking about fucking anything. We all fucking make mistakes. Sexton made a mistake and it's fucking highlighted. Jesus Christ, he knocked the fucking ball on. Who gives a bollocks? It happens. You know, that's it. That's all I'll say about it. Come here to me. No. Sarah.
Next.
The only thing I'd add as an addendum to that is the conditions. He wasn't the only player that knocked on that night.
There you go. Go ban, Richard. Go ban. Come here to me. Sarah, I meant to say to you, you were talking about the Munster injury list there earlier on. I just looked up something there.
Yeah.
Last season, Leinster played 56 players. Munster played 40 out of the squad. That just gives you some idea of where you're going. So, sorry, when you were talking, I was just looking it up there. Yeah. So
here's another Leinster question for you.
Go on.
Are we lacking depth at loose head? Like, I hate to say it and sad to say it, but Cian Healy, he's kind of past his best. And if we're relying on Kilcoyne, is he a worthy successor?
Kilcoyne for Healy?
Yeah.
For the Irish squad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, who we got coming up? Sorry, go on, Danny. Were you going to say something there?
No, I don't think Kilcoyne is a good enough replacement for Cian Healy. Short term, maybe, internationally, but long term, I wouldn't go. No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say Leinster. I meant because he's a Leinster player, like he's well past his best playing for Leinster. But if we go on an international level,
well, I mean, we've a few coming up though behind it. We've a few props coming up.
He's like a Porter.
Porter, Milne is a good player. I think Milne is a good player. There's a few others.
Man over in Connacht, what do you call him? Elam can play loose as well, can't he?
I can't. What the hell is that? I'm trying to think of the fucking fella's name.
Eric O'Sullivan.
Eric O'Sullivan is another one. Pete, there's a few. Tom O'Toole. I don't think we're stuck for front rows, to be honest, for props, to be honest with
you. And just staying on the international kind of squad, I seen an article that Farrell is he's the attitude and the approach he's going to use the number 1 ranking as a kind of a weapon. And why wouldn't? You know, to kind of put the fear of God impression, for want of a better word, you know, would you agree that that's the right or the wrong attitude to use it as?
It's the absolute right attitude to have. I know the article, Sarah, you're talking about, and Farrell said, what are we scared of?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be scared of. We shouldn't be scared as a national squad. We shouldn't be scared of any team. South Africa, Australia, the All Blacks. Like,
I'd agree with that as well.
Like, what the fuck are we afraid of? I mean, you know,
it's a psychological thing. Like, you know, we like even the supporters, you know, need to get it out of their heads. They are a serious team. They're a serious unit as a whole, I think, you know, and yet top class performance usually gets the win. Yeah. So improving the performance and solely focusing on winning a game, take the shackles off those new improved players, those emerging Ireland players, and let them loose. You know, I thought it was a good article and I thought it was the right approach, but I just wanted to kind of get.
Yeah, no, I agree totally with you, Sarah. Yeah, it absolutely was. It was a good article, and totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Sarah. We create what we fear.
Yeah.
If a wise man will know where to be sensible, but he will not fear anything. So I leave it at that.
Anyone else got anything to add?
That's some wonderful wisdom from the Kerry rings and forts, and mysticism from Brosnan. Wonderful.
I'm just taking a book and saying
wonderful.
Come here to me, Peter Martin. What time are we at?
Left wrist, Peter.
No, I took it off.
So it's a few freckles past a few hairs, yeah.
I know what I took it off. It was annoying me. Go on.
Just take out the sundial. That'll do.
Sorry, go on with that.
So what time are we at? Are we approaching 55?
Scooby-Doo, what time we're at?
We're about 55, I think.
I seem to have a new version of Zoom here, and I don't have any time.
Oh, shite.
So come here. I have one more question. Well, I have loads of questions. I'm a female. I have loads of questions. I have more fucking questions than any fucking man can ever answer.
Nice. Cheers.
Please pray for Tom. He was in a bad wreck.
Danny's into loads already. Sure. If Jack Crowley kind of continues on the upward curve that he's on, is that bad news for Joey? Like, Joey could soon find out he will always be the feckin' bridesmaid and never the bride.
Well, here's the thing. He's like, I do think, just for my tuppence worth, I think Crowley could certainly in the next number of weeks, months overtake Carberry at provincial level, certainly. And who's to say that he can't be in going to France as well. I think Carberry Crowley is like, the best way I could describe Crowley, he's more like Sexton than Carberry is. Yeah. He's brave. He's brave. Like there was a couple of like we've already covered on how many yardage with the ball and a meters made and all that kind of stuff. But he's always kind of did that. Like even last season when he was playing under Van Graan and he was playing at 10 and Munster were playing absolute risible stuff. I remember watching one. I remember he was playing 10 against, it was a Welsh team, I think, and I remember the stats. Nearly he passed the ball fuck all times. He was almost doing a Fran Stein and crawl and crash ball off himself. He literally ran everything from 10.
Yeah.
So like for me, that and his tackle stats were in double figures. So there's a guy who's basically saying, I want to get into this freaking game here, lads. So when the ball came his way, he hit the line. And if he didn't have the ball, he still hit the line. It was just basically the ball carrier got it from him. So like he's an aggressive kind of style of player. He's obviously playing with a guy who plays with a pile of confidence. Carberry, I just don't think, he doesn't have the spark of confidence. He's all the ability, don't get me wrong, but he doesn't seem to have the kind of the personality, I think, that perhaps Crowley has, the potential there that Crowley has. Frawley is similar to him as well.
I think Carberry's too brittle. He's too many injuries. Yeah. Maybe that's what's wrong with him. He's afraid to go in.
I was just about to say that, James, on Carberry. Is it the fact that he's in the back of his mind, he's going in, I could get injured here? Because he's had a torrid 2.5 years with injuries. So is he thinking in the back of his mind, at a ruck or at a mall, whatever, I could get injured here, I'm not going to go in there.
Yeah.
It can happen. But you know what? Maybe Crowley pushing him harder will make Carberry up his game. But I think the way it is at the moment, you're looking at two different styles of players. Crowley will win there. He'll crash bag wallop if he has to. Carberry will probably first sit back and tactically kick the ball if it came to it. So it really depends on what the coach wants from his 10 and how that affects the overall team. But I think Crowley could get that 10 jersey off Carberry sooner rather than later. And I think if you pair him with Quincy, that'll probably really, and if you get them playing right, that'll really kind of bring a new dimension to Munster, maybe the way Roundtree wants as well. Now whether it's Farrell.
Well, so I'd say though, Danny, the key is with Crowley not to play him at international level too soon.
Yeah, but he'll want to maybe a good season with Munster.
Yeah.
Joe, where he's starting
at 10.
Yeah. At that position, before you really kind of say, right, now it's his opportunity. The only time I play Crowley internationally is maybe for the A or the emerging team. That's the only time I play him over next year.
Here's the thing I was going to raise about that, and I'm going to go against what Peter and Danny have kind of said to an extent, insofar as we know Farrell has named his squad for the upcoming internationals against South Africa, Fiji, and Australia. There's also the A match tomorrow week against New Zealand A, and Farrell has named specific, which I still I don't get, but anyway, it might come apparent in the fullness of time, or else someone might just point it out to me, that there was a number of players specifically for Ireland A. It was 12 players. Now, I would say I think it would be a good idea, perhaps brave, if Crowley goes out, plays against New Zealand A at 10, has a barnstormer, right? Regardless of whatever else the team does, but he throws down a serious marker. I wouldn't be against Farrell deciding to say, do you know what? He's had an absolute stonker. Carberry has only just done so 6 out of 10 performance. Do you know what I'll do? I'll throw him in or give him 40 minutes against Fiji and see how we get on.
Yeah.
What's there to lose? Like, at the end of the day, like as things stand at the moment, bar those players who Keenan, Gibson Park, and Tyke Furlong, who apparently will be fit. It's just basically pure precautions that he didn't play the other night against Munster. We've basically got a full deck. There's pretty much a full deck that Farrell has to choose from. My fear is that because we're at a full deck, I think our arses are out a little bit almost out the window from an injury perspective, not a performance perspective. That if all of a sudden there's 4 or 5 players could get injured in this time next month, we could be going, there's 5 players knackered in a bad way, ligaments done or something like that, and it's like shit, so I would just be that's my only kind of, that's my thoughts, I suppose, in the general sense, just when we're talking about particular players and so on.
I'll be honest with you, Martin. Considering we'll be playing Fiji, I'd say Sexton would be left at home regardless of what condition he's in anyway. So, and like normally teams usually bring about 8 extra players as well for unreserved, and stuff like that. So I think Crowley will probably be the third choice 10 going into that Fijian game, provided one of the other 2 players haven't already been injured. If he doesn't work his way onto the bench at that stage.
Okay, Sarah, go on.
Sorry, I totally forgot this game. My apologies. Ospreys are playing Connacht at the weekend. Connacht are away to Ospreys. We didn't do a prediction. Peter Burke.
I think Connacht will win this. I think Connacht will win this easily, and I think it will be Connacht by 10, 12, 15 points, something like that.
Yeah. Richard Holland?
Ospreys are shite.
Yeah.
Danny.
Good man.
County home into it.
No,
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 Osprey.
they're away.
Connacht are away to Osprey.
Fuck's sake, Brosnan.
Connacht win. Connacht win 4 points.
Peter Martin.
I was actually going to say Ospreys. I thought they're probably they've performed the best out of the Welsh sides, and as we've said here, ad nauseum, home advantage is worth 5 points. So I'll split the difference and go Ospreys by 3.
James Grennan, are you recording all this?
I am. I'm writing it all down.
For next week's show. Okay, grand job. Okay.
Peter Burke
James,
award.
what do you think yourself?
I'm going bonus point win for Connacht.
Yeah.
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 I think bonus point win for Connacht myself.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
And Richard just said shite. Their Ospreys are shite. Anything else? Any score?
It'll be a bonus point win for Connacht.
Okay.
Right. Okay. What time are we at, Sarah Duffy?
So what time are we at?
We're about an hour in.
Okay. Well, as Peter said, y'all have to shut up, go to bed, get a good night's sleep, and thanks for listening, folks. And we'll hopefully see y'all next week. Thanks, Peter, Richard, James, Danny, and myself.
Thanks,
Love
Sarah.
the
Good
pumpkin.
luck.
Love the
Bye,
pumpkin, Sarah.
See you later. Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Love
Take care.
love the pumpkin there, Sarah. Brilliant job.
Thanks.
Happy Halloween.